Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to live coverage of the MondoKart.com FIA Karting European Championship. Last race of the day is engines on as the Senior OK qualifying heat B versus C makes its way out onto the circuit. And this is a very important race. So one young man, Jensen Burnett, cannot take outright pole, but he can start on pole position for Superheat 2 if he wins this race. He is joined by Christian Kostoy and Vladimir Ivanikov on row number 2. Joe Turney joining him alongside. Emili Koivisto and Peter Siller on row 3 from Sebastiano Pavan and Jacob Mikolev on row 4. Marcus Junche and Jakob Kamenek go from row number 5. Zhao Ziyun and Silianos Kolovos on row number 6. Then have Clovis Nougarade and Austin Gale on row number 7.
Row number 8 includes James Anagnostiadis and Vegard Clementson, and then from 9 we have Alexander Chartier with Vanessa Schilkenater. 10 is Radek Vavra alongside Sebastian Mins, and then from 11 we have Joseph Smith and Roland Cooklane. 12 for Energy we have Paul Androtis and Matis Umer, and then from row number 13 for CRG it's Maria Neto of Portugal with Francisco Sejeliski. 5th row number 14 then for the final qualifying heat of today's racing, Jason Bralick will join Leo Nilsson.
Indeed. Well, looking forward to seeing what these 28 drivers can do. I believe all 28 out there. Helps if I've got it my screen on the right page, which we don't have all 28 out there. We are missing Alexander Chartier and we are missing Joseph Smith from this race. That makes sense for Joseph Smith. We've not seen him racing all weekend. For Alexander Chartier, we've not seen him out in the last couple of races either. There's a look at your intermediate classifications. There's the top 6. Jensen Burnett is currently 7th in those points. He has 182 points to his name. 50 points added onto that, give him 232. That would put him 2nd overall. He will not be able to catch up to Roman Kamyab. So for Jensen Burnett, still some good championship points up for grabs. Still a pole position start for Superheat 2 tomorrow. Can he do it? Let's find out. Into the tram lines. Lights are out. We're racing down in towards turn number 1. It's a solid start for Burnett. Sweeps across the nose at Kostoya, which swamps him down into 4th place. Ivanikov gets through into 3rd place, but it's Joe Turney with the better start. He gets up into P2 ahead of the rest. It's a very good start. There's drivers running off the track in the background. Seemingly it looked like one of the CRGs, possibly could have been Maria Neto at the back of the grid on the Mini machine, who is now fighting right at the back of the field. But crucially for Jensen Burnett there, Nicole, best start he needed, solid go, and now he can go on to potentially finish inside that top, P1 on pole position for tomorrow's Superheat.
Absolutely can. Pavan then pushing around Emili Koivisto there, just outside of the top 5. Really trying to have a good go is Pavan after missing the gate in one of the heats earlier on. Did not get a result from that one. Down at turn number 1 then. Can he pull it off? Not quite. Clips the curb. He's going to lose some pace. He's going to lose it out. No, he doesn't. Gets it going then and goes in on Emili Koivisto at turn number 3. That's going to open things up potentially for Christian Kostoya. No, it's not, because Kostoya now is going to move out and lose position to Peter Stiller. Mikolev now gets in front of Kostoya as well. Christian having a really difficult opening stage of this race because now Austin Gale has gone down and made the position stick. Now Kamenek there has arrived as well. Kamenek hasn't attempted just yet on the Spaniard. In the early stages of this race, Christian really has been shuffled down the order. Turney then in P2. Ivanikov was in P2 right at the early stages. Suffered a bit of speed out of turn number 2 then. That is how Joe managed to get past Sebastiano Pavan. He was quick in the early stages of his previous race. Then in that middle part of the race, dropped into the remainder of the field and didn't really finish anywhere, did not have a good result. We'll see if he can change that within this one. Maybe it was a decision with the tyre pressure that impacted that, but we'll see how Sebastiano gets on within this final qualifying heat. Turney turns up the dial and goes fastest. He's 5/10 behind Jensen Burnett, who is fighting hard for those points. Talking of points then, intermediate classification, Kamyab still leads the way with 244, Jensen Burnett on 232, and then Filippo Sala on 213. Drummond sat there in 4th, Jacopo Martinez in 5th, and then Joe Turney, your driver 2nd on the road currently, sat there in P6.
Obviously, Joe Turney taking the lead in this one will still actually, well, it'll benefit him and it won't affect Jensen Burnett. So, granted, they're not teammates in any way, shape or form. Forza Racing versus Kart Republic, two very different teams, two very different drivers fighting away. As there, Emilio Visto getting through past Sebastian Pavan. Peter Stiller squeezing his way through, and he gets through as well. Nicely done there from those two drivers. And the Italian has to settle there now, just ahead of Jacob Mikolev, who's trying to close in just behind them. Austin Gale there ahead of Christian Costoya now as well. And they're pushing their way through nicely. Yes, saying what I was saying. Joe Turney, if we can get that lead done as through goes Mikolev past Pavan, I'll get my point out at some point if everyone stops overtaking. Yeah, if Joe Turney can get through past Jensen Burnett, he would still gain points. It would help him move up past the likes of Martinez, potentially Zach Drummond, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, that would still help him out massively. For Burnett, it won't affect him at all, as down the inside, James Anagnostiadis once again looking for a good result in this race to help him squeeze up that order a little bit to try and get through to those super heats tomorrow, but he's doing what he needs to right now.
And for the first, whoa, look at that for an attempted overtake. So this weekend, we headed into the championship fight. It was Costoya versus Anagnostiadis, who gets the position back on Kamenek there. This is the first time during the racing this weekend that those two drivers who were fighting for that championship when we headed here to Rodby will be looking at each other. It was an ambitious overtake attempt from James, but these are racing drivers and they're absolutely going to give it a go if they think they can do so. Good job by James to hold onto that car to not run himself off of the road, and now he's going to try and chase down to the Spaniard once more, who, like we said previously, has been shuffled down in the order early on in this race, all over the back of Pavan now, and now down the inside at turn number 5, gets the move done and gets into P8. And Anagnostiadis, though, is going to be looking to try and do the same thing to the NEG driver very shortly. Turn number 9 is a hot spot, but he's not quite on the tail just yet. Pavan then, we said, fast at the start of races, but when we get into the flow of things, just sacrifices pace. And there we go then, Anagnostiadis down at the inside at turn number 11, makes it stick and is pulling along Kamenek with him. Still though, out in the front end of the field, Jensen Burnett, 6/10 clear from Joe Turney. No change between Ivanikov and Koivisto just yet. Really is this mid-pack section that are battling it out. On the inside of Pavan, have an attempted overtake there by Vegard Clementson, but doesn't manage to get anything done. Makes himself vulnerable now to Sebastian Min's teammate there, sat on his tail. Min's down the inside at turn number 7. Textbook move there through turn number 7. Drivers don't really have to think about it too much. Lots of grip down there to be brave and get something pulled off. Behind Min's then we've got Clementson and Clovis Lugerade there as well. Now, Christian Costoya lighting things back up, turning up the dial on this pressure cooker as he promotes himself up another position, but this time to Birolart driver and wildcard entrant of Austin Gale. This is the front end of your order where we have had a change. Now, Jensen Burnett finds himself behind Joe Turney. Where did that come from? Because it was an 8/10 gap that Burnett had given himself. Turney just seemed to arrive from absolutely nowhere. We didn't see where that overtake happened, but Joe makes himself your new race leader, and that is going to shake up the points here in the intermediate classification. Through turn number 9 they go. Canadians still hot on the heels of the Kart Republic driver through 10 and 11 once more, well over that halfway point of this race. But Joe, the driver who's not in the championship fight anymore, out there in the front, 2.5 tenths clear of Jensen Burnett. Your final intermediate classification then. Burnett still sat there in P2, and Joe Turney now leading the race. What has he done? He's given himself a big jump in championship points because he's now inside the top 3, has demoted Filippo Sala, has demoted Zach Drummond and Jacopo Martinez as well. Looking like he could be in for a good one as we head into these super heats tomorrow during racing.
Doing some maths on this one, James Anignosianis there in 8th place would give him a total of 122 intermediate classification points right now at this stage. That will, of course, put him well outside of the top 10, but still in a really good position nonetheless. If you do some more talking, Nicole, I can also do the maths on Costoya, because he's also had some drama out there.
Well, I could do some talking for you then, Anthony, because I think maybe the back bumper of Pavan looks a bit loose. Looks like it's maybe dangling off on one of the sides. Won't have too much of a performance difficulty for him if that is the case. Not quite sure just yet, but it looked like to me that maybe it's a technical problem out there for the driver for Energy Course. Still, this battle is going on for P3. That involves Vladimir Ivanikov, Stiller and Koivisto. Koivisto, this is the best weekend he's had so far in the championship. Didn't have the pace at Campos, Portimao or Viterbo, but here in Rugby with these cooler temperatures, maybe Mealy has looked strong in that MP branded car. Like you mentioned earlier on in the weekend, Anthony, MP are a team that are in single-seater racing there, a team that can promote you all the way to Formula 2 racing. They've got lots of drivers in their single-seater ranks. Delpino being one of those drivers that's previously competed in this championship and is now running with that MP livery in the Formula ranks. Still, these drivers are going round. Stiller not giving up the position to Koivisto and is not looking like he's being rattled there. Mikolev, though, is doing a good job to chase up to these pack of karts, who are slightly backing each other up pace-wise. Out there in the front, though, 10th and a half splits up your front two leaders of Turney and Burnett. Of course, no change in points because Burnett has not returned the favour for that race lead. He's done a good job to salvage some points here this weekend at Robbie. It won't be enough to salvage probably a good result within the European Championship. He's going to be starting at the front end of the field, I would say, as Sebastiano Pavan, like we called it, back bump, I think, is tangling off because has been given now a technical flag.
He certainly has to. Right, I've done some maths. Christian Costoya in his current position, 151 points, so that's a significant advantage over James Anignosianis in those points, which means that he will have to work a little bit harder tomorrow to try and close the gap, but that means the championship gap will open up just that little bit more, depending if they gain points, of course, because it's only the top 15 that get it. I don't know where they sit in those points right now with those points to their name. Look at this fight here right now. Vladimir Ivanikov all over that rear bumper to Peter Stiller, but Stiller holds on to third place. Now through goes Jacob Mikolev. He's got through now. He's looking relatively comfortable here, but he's going to have to defend from the likes of Ivanikov. Koivisto is there as well, trying to get involved. Costoya and Anignosianis are closing in. If Anignosianis can get ahead of Costoya, this would be better for him, but that's going to be easier said than done. Joe Turney in the lead of this one is trying to break away from Jensen Burnett. Joe Turney goes up to third in the points. That's a significant advantage than what I thought he was going to get. So Joe Turney now steps up to third in the points and looking like he will start alongside Roman Kamyab for their race tomorrow in the Superheat 1. Out of the final corner, it's Joe Turney who wins, but it's Jensen Burnett who secures pole position for Superheat 2 tomorrow. Joe Turney will join Kamyab on the front row of the grid. Filippo Sala will join Jensen Burnett on the front row of the grid. And at the end of that one, Sebastiano Pavan ignored the technical flag and a black flag came out at the same time as the checkered. That won't look too good on the old resume for the Italian, who did finish that race up near the sharp end of the order. But right now, these drivers, what they need is a solid result tomorrow. There they are, the points. Kamyab takes the 25. Burnett takes the next chunk. Turney takes the third. Peter Stiller, great race there, finishing in third place. But Turney, Burnett and Stiller, the 1, 2, 3 in the race. Mikolev finishing P4 ahead of Vladimir Ivanikov. Koivisto from Kamenet, Costoya from Anignosianis, Gale from Nilsson, Jalzijeun from Clementson, Mins from Kolovos, Nugarade from Cook Lane, Vavra rounding out the top 18 out there. Leo Nilsson, once again, superb drive 17 places gained for the Swede, who finishes in that P11. 19th sees Andriotis Bralek from Siedzielski, Neto from Szilkaneta,